Go ahead and pick a card for what changes are coming to you right now. I'll put timestamps in the comments below. Ouch. Okay. Whatever. Damn. All right. This is for you, card number 1. If you pick number 1, you're in the right place. Here we go. What changes are coming to you? It's a bold question. As you know, you're already in motion from past events and current decisions and choices, and it's all marbleizing around in the ether and cosmos, and it's going to drop down and appear before you soon enough. So let's see what's going on for you in the next 2 weeks or so. And I'm just going to shuffle these cards around, and then I'm going to pick for you. I've noticed a lot of readers on YouTube will have like a pre-made little bundle, and they'll pull from there. I don't know why, it's just part of the process for me to pull them for you as a part of the reading. And maybe it's just, I don't know. I just like it. I feel like it adds to the experience. Okay. All right. The first thing I'm getting is Death Inverted. So Death Inverted has a lot to do with your, okay, start over. Your current position and your current strength right now is Death Inverted. That means that you're holding back on something. So I think of the Death card as it relates to the earlier Major Arcana card. To me, the way that I read is 8. Some people see strength as 11 and justice as 8. I see strength as 8. So 8 sits below 13, the Death card. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll just do a quick drawing. The Fool is here. He's on his little journey. And at 10, the Wheel of Fortune, the wheel kind of turns over, and I see the rest of the cards like a sort of conveyor belt on the top level, and then they're just sort of shadowing a flip side of a previous lesson of the soul. You see that really, I think, most strikingly when you see the Devil above the Lovers card. It's just the same exact figures, and instead of an angel bringing the two together in the daytime, it's a devil. And anyway, so one thing I see in the Death card is when it's inverted is the maiden holding the lion's mouth open, and that is a symbol of strength through gentleness, kindness. And it's an amazing image that we take for granted, but that's kind of amazing, you know. So clearly the lion is so much stronger, you know, than the lady, but she somehow has overpowered him through benevolence. When that is inverted, it's saying that you're like, you're trying, you're being patient, you're trying to be graceful, but this beast is going to consume you. When I see Death inverted, I see you really not ready to make certain changes. You're really pushing it back, but that's showing up as a power right now. So it's important for you to look into the things that you've been resisting and why. It's a little grimy, it's a little gnar, in the same way that you can have an infection that you're afraid of looking at because you don't want to see it. It's gross, it's bad, it hurts, but you kind of have to heal. So please stay with me. I'm going to come back to that idea in a minute. So we have that Death inverted as your power position. So it's right now whatever you've been holding back that you don't want to initiate in your personal growth. It could be a lot having to do with certain entities that you've surrendered your power over to, as many of the cards are, but you've been really holding back on like really letting go. So that's something coming up for a review. And then we see the Emperor inverted, which to me doubles down on this original concept. So the traditional Death card, I'm using the Strange Daisy Tarot, so it's a very different image. The traditional card has a man wearing a crown, so we can imagine he's an emperor, he's a king, face down in the dirt, which we take to represent death, you know? And then there's a skeleton guy in a cloak with a scythe, is that how you say it? I don't know, on a big horse coming through. And you're like, okay, clearly he's extinguished this king. And there's a lot of assumptions there. But through the words of symbolism, the images of symbolism, there are words that we take from it that create a language. So for our purposes, let's say the king represents something of authority, right? That's a simple observation. Kings represent authority. And to see that inverted here, along with the emperor inverted here as a blockage, and it coming out to the Man of Points, aka King of Swords, inverted, along with the Knight of Wands inverted, I think that maybe there might be a forceful entity in your life right now that you're really confronting, like, actually, do I need to just let this go? Like, this could be a toxic relationship. Maybe you have a partner that is a little... I've had a couple conversations in the last few days with people very close to me who had a girlfriend that was very abusive, or having someone tell me that their landlord or their boss is being really aggressive to them and they don't have the heart to move on, but it's like really stirring up in the head. So that's your power right now, is that you have already in so many ways identified a problem and a need to release and let go. So you're looking to make that release. What your blockage, they're literally standing in your way. Once you get through that, with the Man of Points inverted, it's saying the first unfolding of moving on is you're still going to hear their voice ringing in your head. It's like their criticisms, their needs, their way of putting upon you the world that you live in, how you need to think and act, and basically putting you in a sort of a Iron Maiden of anxiety. That's going to remain for a hot minute. And then what we see here with the Knight of Wands inverted is you need to have new energy coming in. And at first, this may look like meeting up with people who have like a saucy, rebellious, or sexually potent energy. And then you're like, wow, that's so different. But you find in the end, it's not that different. So your process has to be like this. You're ready to let go. They're standing in your way of growth. You do let go. You do distance yourself from this person that might be toxic in your life. And of course, it doesn't always have to be a person. It could be, I don't know, it could be I don't know, like, what else is there? Like, it could be a job you're going to, or I already mentioned that, but like, not an individual, but an entity itself of the institution that you work with that feels very oppressive for you, something like that. But you can't totally let go. It's after you let go on paper, it's going to remain with you for a bit. It's going to still come at you, but it's a system that it's basically been encoded into your head through repetitive behaviors that you've had to coexist in a certain position in the relationship you've had with this entity, whether it's a person, place, or thing. Doesn't really matter, because when we see the same energies playing out, we see you coming to a space where you're powerful enough to move on, but you're going to still feel like they're there, and you're going to look for that external shakeup. There might be a thing that seems very different, a little more wild, a little bit more fun, but you find that it has actually really similar energies in the end. So I'm going to pull another card from this deck here for you. Temperance, Eight of Swords inverted. So Eight of Swords is saying that you're still going to have to deal with your anxieties for some time. If you want to, Temperance is coming up here. So if you want to seek some type of therapy, and it could be whatever you want, you know, you could figure out what you want around that. Personally, when somebody says, Elise, you need therapy, I'm like, yeah, but shut up, like, rude. I hate that. I'd rather just be crazy and left alone than deal with that. Like, that sounds so annoying, stressful, and degrading. Like, I don't like hearing that, even though it's fairly true. I mean, we all need help, you know, but when we have certain anxieties in place because of a current circumstance, and even after we let go, it's going to still be there. So when I see Eight of Swords inverted, it's saying that you're going to still be in a cage of anxieties again, like that Iron Maiden concept is coming up for me again. And if you're not familiar, and if you're just thinking of the band, Iron Maiden is basically like a casket or a sarcophagus, you know, that has like these metal spike teeth. And then I think there's two kinds. There's one where it can enclose around you and just barely poke you, so you can't really move inside of it. And there's another one that just squishes you. So to me, it's saying that the changes that you really need to initiate right now, and when I say need to, it's not that I'm telling you to do. It's like what's being pressed upon your heart and your soul and your mind, and what life is bringing to you as a crossroads. Or like, look, do you want to keep doing this? No, you don't. You want to move forward. And you find that even if you move on, you feel that you keep getting that energy coming back at you, whether it's in your head or whether you're looking for a completely different type of energy coming to you, but it plays that role, and you still find that much anxiety. Temperance is coming and saying, like, you don't have to be a different person. You don't have to change a goddamn thing about yourself. You're fine. You're fine. But as you go, knowing that you can be completely whoever you are right now, feeling whatever you feel, that there are external substances that you can shift and change. So saying, like, taking the pressure off as you're healing by not being around certain things that take energies away from you, and bringing in new energies, may it be, you know, the foods you eat, the drugs you do or don't do. Just being very mindful of all the energies you're taking in as you're leaving yourself room to heal. Yes, it's possible to live a life where you're not constantly being like thrown poison darts, you know? That being said, in another way, a paradoxical way, no, it's not possible to live in a world where things aren't coming at you. But it doesn't really hit you the same if we're guided and shielded, and deciding to take it in measure as we go. What I'm saying that it's possible not to experience the life, what I'm trying to say is, like, basically the amount of anxiety that you might be bringing on now, it's possible to be able to move on from it. So it's going to take a little time. I think the first step is definitely letting go of the immediate toxic issue so that you can move into a new space where you're allowed to heal and grow, because you'll find over time it is so much environmental that really influences your inner peace, but it's also up to your inner self to decide how you're going to experience the world around you. In the same way that if you're constantly having anxiety, even everything's set up for you or whatever in a way that's comfortable, you're never going to really completely enjoy it because you feel uncomfortable in your own skin. And that can come from environmental things that just stay with you even if you move on. So it's room to look into new ways of healing and growing, but you're off to a good start because you already feel the changes. You already know what you need to do in moving forward. All right. Take a deep breath with me. Exhale. Remember to breathe. Remember that you're in control of your life. Remember, no matter who comes in or out, you're the person you have to remain with, and you're the person that needs to be comfortable in those situations. And I hope the best for you, of course. And if you enjoyed this reading, please like, share, subscribe, comment, help a girl out. And if you didn't like it, go ahead and like, share, subscribe, and comment. I got a thick skin sometimes, so I'm ready to hear it. All right, thank you, and bless you. Hello, this is for group number 2. I'm going to shuffle the cards a little bit for you, just so we can get into the spirit of whatever your energies are coming through, this theoretical vibe of this video. It's all a grand experiment, you know? Okay. All right. Ooh. Okay. I think it's ready for you. First off, your power position, Ace of Cups inverted. You're not listening to your needs. Your heart is telling you one thing and you're like, no. And we can find out why. Because sometimes we ignore ourselves intentionally or unintentionally, and sometimes it's a good thing or a bad thing. Some might argue that you should always listen to whatever heart impulse you have. But I gotta say, as someone who usually does that, it doesn't always work out for me. So sometimes you gotta think a little harder about it. So let's just see, that's where we're starting. And we're gonna go through this little maze and see where it ends up. We have the High Priestess sitting right next to the King of Swords. What a hot couple. I've never thought about that. Okay, so the High Priestess is a woman's intuition. It's a feminine aspect of like holding everything in a passive position. So I mean passive is like the High Priestess is not the magician. She's not like turning the lights on, changing things around. She's just kind of like sitting back and she's like, I see everything. Like, I get it. I understand almost by osmosis, like the entire developing world around me and beyond. I feel it all. I just know. So that combined with the King of Swords coming up again. He was in the last reading. Maybe he's the star of the show for this video. I don't know. But him coming up sitting right next to the High Priestess. To me, this is a combination in the blockage position as a call for discernment. That, I think, is very good in that your first card, which I said is the emotional self being blocked, and then the blockage is the High Priestess with the King of Swords. That together, to me, is like you are in an emotional space that you haven't totally figured out, but you're not thinking. You haven't combined the heart and the head. There's this thing in palm reading where you have your head line and your heart line, right? And there's a lot of hands where the head and the heart line go in different directions. People's head and heart are different entities. Sure, but like within themselves, they find themselves at odds with themselves, whatever that means. I can't talk right now. People find themselves like not exactly aligned with their thinking and feeling. And then your lines do change. So I relate to this reading in the beginning, but I find that over time, I don't know, you probably can't see this because of the lighting, but I'm starting to create a simian line, which is when the head and the heart line become one line, the alignment of the total self. I don't know, there's probably some books that say that makes me a serial killer or something. There's so much information out there, and just eat it all up. It's all good. But for you, it's saying right now your changes mostly have to do with learning how to align your emotional, impulsive self, your sweet, soft princess crying at commercial self, with the discerning, no, don't eat that. It's caca. I don't know why that just came. I'm gonna delete that. I fucking hate that I said that. Whatever, keep rolling. So there's the two senses of self, right? The emotional needs, and then the thinking and understanding what's actually good for you. It doesn't have to be at odds, you know? You don't have to be unemotional or detached or jaded to be like, yeah, you like that person, and yeah, they're not good for you. And it's okay to feel sad about it. And it's okay to feel all the things you're gonna feel. Just give it room to exist. But I'm gonna make sure that I take care of you, which is you yourself. This is you talking to yourself. Like, what's his name? Smeagol or whatever. He's just like, yes, my precious. You're your own precious, okay? I'm losing you. I'm sorry. I need to get it back together. Okay. So you're talking to yourself and saying, I'm gonna give myself space to feel feelings. Totally okay. But as much room as it needs, and I'm also going to get up in the morning and go to work. I'm also going to say no. I'm also going to mindfully say to this person, I can't talk to you anymore for whatever reason. Namaste, I'm blocking your number. whatever you need to do. You can still have the feelings and know what's good for you and know how to be that big sister to yourself. You know what I mean? So I'm going to keep going. The next thing that I see is Great Wheel. So, and then there's a lot of cards that came out here. Great Wheel, Four of Wands inverted, the Two of Cups, the Eight of Cups, 10 of Pentacles, the Moon, and the Nine of Coins. That is, this is the change. This is the granddaddy change reading over here. I don't even know where to start. First of all, the Great Wheel, Wheel of Fortune, it's all about the major changes. It's all about those major transformations. It's about literally like taking the train to the next town over and starting a new life. It's going through puberty. It's going off to college. It's leaving college and starting your tenure as like a professor or whatever. Like, it's the going into the different zone. So you're ready for that. And then we have the two work on it post-it note cards, which is understanding your boundaries now, what works for you now, like reassessing how your energy needs to be taken care of when you get to the other side. The Eight of Cups inverted, so it's like detoxing, letting go of things that just like really refreshing, because you're going to be in such a different space that you're going to have to reboot like what actually brings you interest and what you've outgrown. So again, like going through puberty, like you usually get bigger, you know, like you have to get new clothes. You may not want the same interests, you know, you may not want to play with toys anymore or want some different kinds of toys, and you have different things that you focus on. You might find that certain relationships need to evolve and change, or you need to move on from, like just everything you have to readjust. And then we see the 10 of Pentacles along with the 8 of Pentacles. So this is like major financial and career shifts, where things that you might have been working on before that kind of didn't feel like they really kicked off are suddenly like lit. They're like on. And then we have the Two of Cups along with the Moon card. So you're going to go into a completely different mental shift. You're going to be having deja vu all the time. You're going to feel like you're more in alignment with your true spiritual incarnation. It's going to be trippy, and you're going to find like when I see the Two of Cups here, Two of Cups can often be called like the true love card, but it's a general reading, and I really don't feel like that's going to happen to everyone. But I also feel like because of whatever, you know, you might already be in a relationship, you might not be interested in partnerships, whatever, but I feel like you're going to hit a new space in your life where you're really calling in your kindred souls. So yeah, and a lot of this has to do with like the beginnings of impulse control and maturing in how you respond to your emotions. Not that you're shutting them up, but you're not letting them drive. You're not letting the baby drive. You're letting the baby be taken care of and fed and have room to be a baby. You're not abusing it, but you're like, you can't drive. You're a baby. Somebody else is going to drive. And that somebody else is going to be another part of yourself who's deciding and discerning what's a safe road and which speed is safe, you know, when to make stops and how to take care of the baby on the road. I hope some of that made sense to you. And if so, please like, comment, share, subscribe. It means a lot to me. Thank you for listening. Have a lovely life and blessings on your changes. What's up, group number 3? Hello, welcome home. It's me, your friend. All right, so I'm gonna just start pulling for you by shuffling a little bit and see what comes out. We're looking into what the next changes of your life are gonna be. Ooh. Okay, this is amazing. What? Okay. Wow. It's saying a lot of these changes are made so by some person that's come into your life recently. Odds are they are a person. Sometimes to me, the Lover's card is just a noun that comes into your life, person, place, or thing. But the Lover's card coming in is like, you've already or recently or just about to meet someone that really rocks the boat. They really are catalysts for change. I know in my life when this has happened, I'm like, wow, my romantic partner for life, and I'm gonna get married and like never think about anything sad ever again. This is gonna change my life. That's not really what happens. It can, but it's saying that this person is gonna come in for a purpose. You guys have like a karmic connection. There's a reason why they're coming in your life, and it's to like really spike you into a new position in the world, in your own existence. And let's see what that is. What does it mean? The Lovers right next to the Devil. This person's going to come in at a time where you're starting to realize that you might have some addictive behaviors, or there might be some shadow aspects of your existence and how you're behaving and the things that you're afraid of. They're really challenging that. And I think this is going to be really good because we see the Six of Wands right next to the Two of Wands. So what does that mean? Six of Wands to me is like victorious, like champion. Sometimes it could be like the return of a lover, or the hometown hero coming back after they've won a championship or whatever. But it's, and then the Two of Wands, it's like, this is a very romantic and exciting, purposeful change where this person comes in, they really turn the lights on. And there's something about it that like really like spikes up your energy to try harder in the things that you care about. Then you really will find a kindred spirit there. You're so lucky, you know. A lot of us want like a person to come into our life, shake it up, and really inspire us. It looks like there is a person coming in. It doesn't have to be a sexual partner. It could be a mentor. It could be a program, you know, that you're invited to go be a part of some retreat or something like that. You know, it could be a coworker. It could be something like that. It doesn't have to always be a sexual partner. But this person is deeply significant in the evolution of your soul's journey on Earth. And then we see Two of Coins, along with the Seven of Cups. So Two of Coins with Seven of Cups is like, you're going to start to try out different ways of making money. You're going to start to experiment a bit with like how you put yourself out there. It's going to start the wheel turning on like how you put yourself in the world. But I think it's going to be exciting. I think there's going to be a lot of sudden and powerful, potent downloads, like realizations, as you go forward. So I don't know. I mean, like, this is a general reading. I don't know how it's exactly going to look for you. If we did an individual reading, it'd be way easier to help you with that. But for general purposes, I say that you're one of the lucky ones that will have somebody come in your life, for better or worse. It's going to shake it up for you and really like illuminate like things that you might have been afraid to move beyond. And it's going to push you a little to put yourself out there. So it could even just be like you lack confidence in doing something that you've always dreamed of. Somebody comes in and they either encourage you or piss you off, and it's like a contrary response that you're like, no, actually, no, I know what I want to do, and I don't care how you feel. Or they're like, you can do this, and you're like, oh, I've never thought about it like that. Thanks for the encouragement. It can go either way. Again, this is a general reading, and it is a polarizing line that like somewhere on the polar end of that medicine, that'll like launch you into being more comfortable with putting yourself out there. So that's your reading. And thank you for listening. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, whatever I'm doing with my hand. Thank you. I really appreciate the encouragement and your support. Also, if you like the readings and you want to learn more about the tarot and you want to learn it through my particular voice, I have a podcast called Neon Cauldron. I'll put the link in the bio. Thank you for listening. Bless. One for me. High Priestess. Ooh. In the world. Yeah. One more, huh? I'm pulling for myself selfishly. The Sun. I love it. This is great.